By anyone's measure, we are living in extraordinary times.
Prices are at an all-time high.
My goal had not been to go to Washington.
I'm pleased to announce that I will nominate Henry Paulson to be the Secretary of the Treasury.
I didn't really know President Bush. I thought there was a high likelihood there'd be a financial crisis when he was president.
20,000 jobs
Third
lost.
quarter losses of nearly 4
The latest financial giant in distress.
We are watching this market,
their lowest level in 15 years.
None of us understood the extent of what we were dealing with. Bear Stearns, Merrill Lynch, Lehman Brothers. Holy moly, how could this be happening?
Economists believe we are now in a recession.
I saw this moving from Wall Street to Main Street.
Every day, the American people get angrier.
Losing farms and homes.
breaking news for real.
We needed to do something dramatic.
We cannot simply assist Wall Street.
We wanted $750 billion from Congress.
Hank was led to do things that were offensive to him.
Too big to fail is definitely not acceptable.
Congress has to act. We're out of options.
New York City fat cats expect Joe Sixpack to pay for all this nonsense.
The public wanted to hear those that made the mistakes are going to be held accountable.
And next month, they're going to come back and ask for more.
What we did was not for these banks. It was to save Main Street from a catastrophe. It's important that there be a historical record so we don't replay this movie all over again. On Saturday, September 27th, it looked like things were going to come together and we're going to get a deal done.
Members of Congress are buckling down to work today on the Hill, in and out of meetings, trying to hammer out the language for the $700 billion bailout bill. The bottom line, the stakes are enormous.
I was in this conference room, and there was like 6 Democratic senators just pounding on me, each on their own issue. There was all kinds of staff around the side witnessing it on their BlackBerries, and pretty soon the press started writing about this spectacle. And when the press started writing about it, Rahm Emanuel, who was very good during this crisis, confiscated everybody's BlackBerry. It was like the Old West, you know, taking the guns at the saloon. He collected them all, put them in his bag, took them out. We worked through the night, and as we were getting near midnight, I had a problem come over me. And all my life, if I'm really exhausted, I get the dry heaves. And it sounds like I'm really sick because I make a lot of noise.
Everybody asks. I forget, dry heaves, is that what I think he calls it?
I'd play tennis with Wendy. You know, if I was in the hot sun and so on, and a couple times, our opponents thought it was a tactic. You know, I would go over and have the dry heaves, and she'd say, "Hank, get back out here." That's disgusting. And of course, it would throw the other people off, and I hadn't done it on purpose.
I just totally discount it, and people get very undone about it. And, you know, oh, Hank, what's happening? I just say, forget it. That's just Hank. Yes, he seems to have these physical reactions, but I discount them completely. I've seen it before, and I know he's going to go on.
Rahm Emanuel came by. Harry Reid came by and offered to get a doctor. I said I didn't need it. But it wasn't a tactic, but I know that helped accelerate things.
While there is a sense of relief, no one wants to say the deal is done before an official vote in the House and the Senate.
Right now, what we have to do is to steer this economy from the edge of the abyss.
But the rich and famous Wall Street, New York City fat cats expect Joe Sixpack to buck it up and pay for all this nonsense.
And it ignores Main Street's real housing challenges.
If we repudiate George Bush's Secretary of the Treasury and Chairman of the Federal Reserve, I believe the consequences will be severe.
I want to point out to our viewers right now, and take a look at this, 688 points, 689 just went up. If this holds, this will be the single largest point drop in the market's history.
You could see, as they were getting more nays, that the market was continually going down and down.
On Wall Street, stocks plummeted over 700 points.
After the House voted down the TARP, Barney Frank, attempting to cheer me up, said, "Don't worry, Hank, sometime kids have got to run away from home and get hungry before they come back."
We're facing a choice between action
and the real prospect of economic hardship for millions of Americans, for the financial security of every American. Congress must act.
To help the American people, I am now supporting today's financial package.
I'm voting aye today, and it may be politically damaging. I've been listening to small business people all week long, and they said, thanks for voting no on Monday, and thanks for standing up for us, but you got to do something. Congress has to act. We're out of options. Hold your hand over your heart and vote yes.
The TARP passed, but all the week the TARP was passing, the situation was worsening in the markets.